Howdy, fellow movie fans, and welcome to this special review of Project Hail Mary. As always, I'm your host, Evan Davies. However, for once, I'm not actually alone. I have my lovely wife, Al, with me today.
Hi, it's me.
She's back, and you can't keep her away.
Oh, don't forget the cat howling in the background for anyone who picks up on that. You bet.
Well, welcome to the special review of Project Hail Mary. Now, normally I would say spoiler-free. However, I've been told by my lovely wife. I'm
gonna try my best, okay, you guys? I told them to put an X over my mouth if I say a spoiler on accident, okay? I'm just not good at saying not everything I mean, you know?
So, we may have a few minutes at the end where we've occasionally in the past done spoilers at the end, but we do kind of a base review of just word of mouth. Hey, I think you should go see this at the front end of the show. So, maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. But beyond the fact that I went with Ab and it was kind of a date night, and by the way, AMC Theater's dead to us right now.
Yeah, also, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Was there a blizzard? There was. Okay, that's not what we're mad about. What we're mad about is that they didn't say anything, no email, no sign on the freaking door, just a close, and all of us have these early release tickets, and everybody's just like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So we look and find out that there's another early showing at a Marcus, and so he like buys tickets really quick. But also I was like, come on, I just want to see the movie.
Yeah, so that is why AMC Theaters is currently dead to us, even though we understand a blizzard did roll through the upper Midwest of the United States.
It's not the blizzard, it's the lack of communication.
Correct. So, but with that note being said, we're on to Project Hail Mary, which overall, the big reason with Ab being here is she's a huge fan of the book, Project Mary.
Huge fan.
And I know this is absolutely one of your favorites, to the point where it looked like when we weren't going to go, it looked like a 6-year-old that just got told their birthday party was canceled outside of a Chuck E. Cheese.
I was like having a like adult emotional temper tantrum where I was like, yeah, I'll see Bride. Like I just like wanted to see the movie I wanted to see.
Yeah, this is also important. The Bride, which I reviewed very positively, she's like, I want to go see that.
No, I do. It wasn't what I wanted in the moment, which was Project Hail Mary.
So it was a bit much, but we wrangled it back together. We got into our showing, 4 minutes late?
Missed like maybe the first 3 minutes.
Because we had to gallivant to, a slightly different part of town to get to the showing, to at least to see it. However, well worth it.
I would argue that the movie picks up at a very similar place to where the book starts, actually.
Yeah, so from what I'm hearing, very faithful adaptation of the book. Overall, without question, we already knew this, Ryan Gosling can carry a film.
Oh, yeah. And he's good at playing someone believably smart but charismatic, I would argue.
Right, and it's also, he brings that charm to it, so when he isn't just super smart, you believe it, and you buy that this is a real person. But obviously this film is truly one person's performance and then generally a voice actor's performance. That's what we already knew. That's not spoiler territory.
And here's the thing is, I would argue you forget that. Yeah. Like, you forget as you're watching that you're basically watching Ryan Gosling act alone, which is hilarious because that's like 2 for 2 Andy Weir novels to screenplay adaptations is like one person basically carrying but you know what, when you have the right person, when you have Matt Damon, like when you have Ryan Gosling, they can do it. And like those are the people you're looking for to lead a like novel adaptation like this. Like you have to have a strong character.
Absolutely.
And I would think that I think they both have that like little charismatic, smart, believable situation.
Yes, they also have that smart ass gene that gets through a lot of scenarios because their sarcasm allows them to go through. The performance by Ryan Gosling is great. What I find really fascinating about the cast in general is outside of Gosling, there's not a single real name. Now there are a few. There's faces you certainly know, including, I hate to say this because it's not meant to be derogatory, AT&T girl.
Oh yeah, AT&T girl. That's who she is. It was AT&T girl. I have the whole movie. I was like, how do I know her? Who is she? It's AT&T girl, the one who always does the commercials, plays an astronaut.
All right. So I knew she had an I don't want to say ethnic name but Milana Van Trobe.
Van Trobe.
So Uzbeki name, but nonetheless, everyone knows her as, you know, the
AT&T girl,
the woman from the AT&T commercials.
Well, I will say some of the other characters, so I will acknowledge, like, offhand, I don't remember the names of the other two astronauts, but certainly I do remember Chad, like Chad from the book, and I thought that the actor that they got to play Chad was, like, how I kind of envisioned him, which I really enjoyed.
I mean, Carl?
I mean, oh my god, sorry, not Chad, Carl. Oh my gosh.
Lionel Boyce. But we also have Ken Leung, which is another face everyone should probably know. And then our second main character outside of Rocky, which would be Sandra Huller.
What do we know her from?
I don't know her. I don't remember seeing her in anything notable. To my knowledge, I don't remember seeing her in virtually anything. Now, that's not out of disrespect. That's literally just a...
I feel like she's cut from the Bryce Dallas Howard, I can see Jessica Chastain, that whatever that strain of human woman is. She's a remix of them.
But I'm looking outside of a few projects. It's mostly European fare that she's been involved with.
She's a strong German accent,
but she does an incredible job as well. The casting in general is great, but it obviously centers around Ryan Gosling, and it's a great character piece to understand.
Well, because you really are meant to understand, like, this is some secretive shit, and that this is not just the United States. Like, this is a earth-wide
initiative,
global powers initiative to try to save the fucking world.
Right.
And I don't think that that's a spoiler. Like, no. There's something of momentous gravity that leads to the, like, events of this book, and, like, that is very obvious. Right. Very quickly.
And so, but again, it becomes a character study of one man that I really appreciate. And it's not your traditional... Ab and I were remarking the whole way home that this isn't a traditional hero's journey in which someone really takes up the mantle and goes to, you know, save the world or whatever. It's someone who's constantly struggling with who they are and the choices they made previous to where they are now, and still making the choice to be heroic, which I think is a really interesting vibe to see in a leading man category, because we're used to the Captain America, Batman type. You're used to the
person that rushes into the fire. And I think a lot of the rest of us are left being like, I don't know if that's how I would respond right. if faced with such extreme, you know, personal strife / like searching. But, like, I think that what I appreciate always, and what Andy Weir writes very well, is a character who, and I said this in the car, a character who maybe doesn't rise willingly to a very hard challenge, but when faced with no choice, when given no choice, like, what it looks like to still find your humanity, and being like, there really is heroism in knowing that, like, when shit gets really, really, really tough, even if you don't feel like you can, even if you feel hopeless, that you still try to, like, make something better, that you still try to make the world better. And there's something that, like, I think to me is deeply, like, human about that, because it's like, you know, this is a larger commentary on, like, my life. Like, I'm sure some people know this who maybe follow Evan, but, like, I'm a doctor, and so, like, this is something that I feel like really hits me in today's current very shitty political climate, that, like, we must find hope in the little things, because, like, even when things are globally very bad, like, you have to find hope to keep going. And I genuinely think that's, like, what Andy Weir is, like, trying to say in this book, in this story, is that, like, there is hope and humanity in small things, even if, like, the big things do not look the way that we anticipate they would.
Right. And I think the movie hits that very well. And then beyond obvious themes of the book and of the movie in general, I just think it's extremely well executed. The movie has a wonderful touch of humor, yet heart to it. Rocky will be everybody's favorite by the end by the end of this. But beyond that, one thing I really wanted to strike out, I always try to find a unique piece of a film to talk about, is the lighting. Mm-hmm. I adore the way they try to bring a layman in who doesn't understand science in a way to bring it in. And there are some of the shots, especially towards the end, where we're seeing prism rainbow kind of lighting that is actually scientifically accurate to my understanding of how things would be projected to the human eye. That is so cool. But also the infrared of trying to figure out the science portions
without
of
ruining
things.
like too
It's
much
incredible
for people, but like Rocky, one of the characters, like doesn't see maybe the traditional way that like we would expect, like through eyes. And so how it's portrayed in the film is very, very cool to me, and how they portray just like Rocky in general, because these are things that I like read about, that I like tried to imagine with my brain, and like getting them like seen brought to life, and brought to life like described in a way where I was like, oh my god, yes, 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 this is like seeing the ship. Oh, the ship was fucking cool. Like the ship was so rad. It was like interstellar bullshit. And I was like, oh my god, it does look how I thought it would look. That's fucking nuts.
Also, did you not get the same? So I do not want to mark this up too much, because the viewers of the channel will know that the docking sequence in Interstellar is one of my favorite things of all time.
Yeah. So
there is a level of tension in one scene where it is not docking. I want to make that clear before I say it.
No, the docking scene is like the ultimate butthole clenching scene. I don't care who you are, you're holding your breath. If you're not, you feel nothing. I don't understand.
However, there's a scene in Project Hail Mary where it gets a semblance, and the not only the tone shift, the music shifts, the lighting shifts to where you're just locked up in here, and you're like, come on, and it's incredible when a film can actually do that. And
can I tell you though? So,
do you need to give a spoiler?
This might be a spoiler.
Pause.
Okay.
Overall, if you want no spoilers, think it
was gonna be. What I was gonna say was that like the part that you're alluding to is also tension filled in the book.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, no, it was also tension filled, not in the same way, but because I think that they allowed the story to I think progress a little bit quicker on screen, which is obviously like, I mean,
you have to.
Yeah, no, it's like how it goes. But there definitely was like some increased initial tension that I would say like wasn't portrayed maybe as much in the movie, which is okay. And that doesn't surprise me, because like that feels like an easy way to like lift out like, you know, length that doesn't need to be there.
Well, also, I mean, it already, it's a 2:36 runtime.
Oh, it didn't feel that long.
It does not feel that long, and that's why I checked my phone afterwards. And I was like, holy fuck, this is a long movie.
Here's the thing, I'll tell it, like, it's only maybe like a 330 page book,
which is like, nothing for a book reader.
So like to be clear, for a sci-fi book that packs the punch that it does, I would argue The Martian, like Andy Weir and Blake Crouch are two like sci-fi writers that I would argue really know how to like pack a punch, but they also know how to respect a page count.
Yes.
Like their pages matter. Not that I won't, like, here's the thing, I'll read 1,300 page Hermione fanfic. Okay, your girl does not have a problem with length, but I want it to count. Okay.
Also, that's gonna be a clip, by the way.
Your
girl doesn't have a problem with length. This is gonna be clipped forever.
But here's the thing, like every page in Project Hail Mary counts, and I would argue the movie is the same. Like you needed all 2 hours and 30 minutes, because I can definitely, like, there are things that as the person who loves the book, that I'm like, well, that didn't make it in. And I thought that like it needed that, because they used all of those minutes.
They did what they I certainly think I think there's a little fat on this that you got to chew through, but not in a negative way. It's just I don't know.
It never drags.
But yeah, I don't think the pacing drags whatsoever. And what's really interesting is getting the conversation on the way home about the book, because I myself have not read it.
Obviously I gave like a full dissertation about everything that wasn't in there.
Is the film starts off at a slightly different point.
Yeah.
And then the book does a slightly different variation on how they tell the story of that character and how he comes to his qualms or his character flaws, whereas this one jumps quickly into a different setting. I think it's to lull that audience into a nicer tone, I guess.
No, I will say the big twist, I will acknowledge for clarity though, the big twist you also do not know till close to the end of the book.
Sure.
And you maybe are like starting to get like pieces of it, because you're slowly starting to realize you're like, because then this is very clear from the get-go, which is, how the fuck is this character the one person who's alive in space? Like, clearly that's a mistake. Like, it's a mistake that Grace is the person who's the only one alive in space, and he's just like, we're doing our best, basically. Like, that's how the book starts. It's also
important to note that is not a spoiler for the film.
No.
Because it's shown within the first 5 minutes of the film that he is alone. So it's not a spoiler territory. But overall, I think the lighting's impeccable. The music is great. The performance by Ryan Gosling.
I would argue special effects,
special effects
really
are on point.
Well done.
I think this is another way. I think what's extremely cool about this is once every couple of years we get a science fiction movie that is as close to scientifically accurate as sci-fi fantasy.
This is a very plausible. This is a thing that does not actually exist, but if it did exist, would actually be very plausible and is a very cool idea.
Right.
And that's because Andy Weir, I believe, before he was a writer, he has some sort of science background, if I recall correctly.
I mean, you have to.
Or he did science journalism or something. He particularly has a special edge for sci-fi because he writes really scientifically accurate, plausible sci-fi, which is my favorite sci-fi, I must admit.
And then every couple of years when a piece comes along where even though there's certainly more liberties taken in such like an Interstellar, they're trying to be extremely scientifically accurate to the point where you have, Christopher Nolan reaching out to Neil deGrasse Tyson and be like, okay, if this were to happen, tell me what you think this would look like. How could I make it more accurate?
Yeah.
And this is something where nothing happens in this where I'm like, nah, I don't know. Everything I'm like, no, this seems like what could possibly happen and is plausible. So I think no one's going to come out going like, this is just another bullshit space movie. I think this is a very worthwhile performance.
And also, to be kind of truly honest, it's also not actually really about space.
No, it's a very,
in a way that
it's a character study that's set in space.
That's and here's the thing is it is, and you love it and you love the space parts about it, but you also are you don't care that it's not actually about space.
Correct. But there's cool space stuff.
Yeah, but there's cool space stuff that you get to look at, which is the best combination.
But it is certainly a worthwhile experience. I think both of us would highly recommend it.
Oh yeah, I'm extra fucking mad at frickin' AMC because we had IMAX tickets and that would have been rad, and I'm mad about it. So I'm gonna make him take me to go see it in IMAX still, but I guess that'll be next week.
When we can make it happen, we'll make it happen. I still need to get you to the theater to see The Bride.
Yeah, now actually I'll see The Bride and actually be happy
about it. But you guys should know already that The Bride is absolutely phenomenal because I told you about it. And as much as I'm not trying to shit on Ryan Gosling, phenomenal. Still not as good of a performance as Jessie Buckley gives because she's so good in the Bride. It's absurd, and I think you'll agree with that once you see it. Okay. But beyond that, I think highly recommend from both ends.
Oh yeah, 10 out of 10.
I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Here's the thing: enjoyability 10. Book to book adaptation. As someone who and I was complaining about it, I will say, but I'm finally very excited because now a bunch of books that I really love are getting made into
right.
Or some sort of program. I love Murderbot. Murderbot's another great sci-fi that got made into an Apple TV show. So I feel we're getting this sway of we got a lot of sci-fi through comics, I think.
Yeah.
And now people are seeing people are finally realizing that there's a lot of great sci-fi literature out there. And maybe honestly even Game of Thrones was kind of an initial run or something. People realize if you maybe can get another big juicy sci-fi property and turn it into a longer series, or
if you can get something that has a lot of meat on the bone, fantasy, sci-fi, doesn't matter what
especially
it is,
in someone who's still writing, oh my gosh. So I hope that this is a trend we continue to see because my heart will be very happy.
But overall, 2026 is becoming quite a good year for film already.
Oh yeah.
And this is
also inventive film. We're seeing some tasteful, very piney, tasteful reimaginings. Wuthering Heights, of course. But then we're I would say Bride is also kind of piney, at least how it's been portrayed. So I think we're getting some juicy remakes, and then we're also getting some exciting new properties off of some more more current literature, which is cool.
And then we're gonna end the year with Avengers. So we're going to get the whole spectrum this year, but nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, learning, wherever you may be. We appreciate it. Go watch a great film, and for both myself and Ab, peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye!